So why don't we just get started with it? I really want to get this one out of the way because I think we both agree on this one. And one of the first theories that I have is that Aurene is going to go away. She either dies or disappears into the mists. That's like my first point that I want to talk about. Um, so this is how I see it. Right now, I see that Aurene is very much attached to two main characters, and that is the commander and Keith. I think that if Keith disappeared, Aurene would be corrupted, and that is a way that we could deal with Aurene. Although I think that Irina isn't brave enough to pull that one off. That's too edgy for them. um,
I think that's what's gonna happen though.
oh, you're really
For
you're
sure.
really nailing on that.
For sure. For sure, yeah. For sure. Commander can't die because, he's the character. Can't kill the commander. I mean, you can, but he always comes back if at the
The
fight,
thing is, I
that kind
don't
of stuff.
I don't see why would we kill the commander again. You know, why would the commander die again?
Yeah,
It's something we've done
yeah,
already.
yeah.
I know we've killed Aurene as well, but the thing is, Aurene wasn't the Elder Dragon Aurene. It was kind of different. It was almost a different character. Aurene didn't even speak back then, so
Mm.
it has been quite a while. I do think that Aurene is such a powerful character that she does need to get away from the story as soon as possible. And it's that thing, right? If
I
go
mean,
go ahead.
the thing is in the name, End of Dragon. I mean, Irene is a
Yeah,
dragon.
that's exactly what
Okay,
I
it's
was
an ally,
about
but
to
I
talk about.
think
Like,
because if you keep Irene around, she just deals with everything.
yeah, it's the
There's no
baggage, man.
like,
Like the luggage that you need to have about knowledge of the game, because as I recall, when they did champions, they killed off Primordus and Jormek, and I've said this to you, Jota, before, but I don't think I ever said it on stream yet. But when they killed Primordus and Jormek on champions, I think it was because they wanted to get away of all this luggage so that it's easier for new players to get into the lore of Guild Wars 2 and just pop into the game and get excited about the next
yeah, but
builds.
that was a poor
It
decision.
was.
So we don't want
Yeah, it
another
was a
poor
poor
decision.
decision like for the lore itself. But if they do kill Aurene and they do start giving us like smaller arcs but totally different that don't have like luggage from the core or Heart of Thorns or all the other releases, I think it's a good decision as well, because you do have that benefit of new players coming in and don't feel like they're missing out if they don't do the previous content. Like they won't get the full picture of it. That has always been a problem with Guild Wars 2 on every expansion. It's you need to do all the previous content so that you do understand what is going on. So I do think that killing off Aurene is also a big step leading towards that. Because Aurene is such big luggage. She starts from season 2 with the egg up until this point. She has all this storyline. She has a whole fucking arc between she being born and becoming an Elder Dragon. And
But there you go. I think Irene has to
yeah,
die.
yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. She has to die.
How would you do it?
Completely. I don't think she even's gonna disappear.
I'm
She's gonna
curious.
die.
How would you do it?
And like I said, I told you this the thing about Katie. If Katie dies, Irene, I think it will corrupt Irene.
Yeah,
in a
she
certain
goes
way,
insane. Yeah.
and she will go evil and insane, and yeah, and destroying the whole world and shit. But like, how are we going to defeat Irene? That's the question. I don't know, man. How are we defeating them? How do we even defeat Irene without Irene?
Oh, that is a really good point as well.
How do you defeat? How do you
Because
defeat
we do
Irene?
know.
You defeated Primordus and Jormak with Irene.
No, actually,
You
that's
defeated.
actually not true. We do know from Taimi and Gorik that Elder Dragons have a weakness, and sometimes their own main strength is their weakness. You talk about Mordremoth. His main strength was mind and getting into your mind. And so you went inside the mind of Mordremoth and you defeated him there. Because it was also his weakness. His biggest strength is also his biggest weakness. So, I think...
Yeah, but that came with a cost.
Yeah,
you know, you lost the character because of that.
True. And with Primordus and Jota,
Irene came to facilitate.
They're the same. They're two sides of the same coin, so they counter each other. You know. So that was kind of the deal. Like Irene by herself couldn't defeat both of them, but since they were attacking each other, I think that's why they got defeated. Although defeating Irene would kind of mean that we would put Void back into the storyline, wouldn't we? Because she is keeping Void away now. She's like the guardian of Tyrion.
Yeah, but that's
Void,
the thing. That's the thing about Void. Like we have to deal with Void first too, I think.
Oh, you think we're gonna deal with Void first, and only after we kill Irene?
I mean, we're not gonna get any of those in the next years, I think. Because I mean, there's this thing with Galdelves. We don't know what's coming for the next.
Okay, so this is my idea.
Couple of theories on that.
Theory. If I was a Renet right now, and yes, I do think that killing Irene is the next big step they should do. The commander right now has been like this has been having these PTSD episodes. Like, it's too much killing. Let's call it like that. We've killed too much powerful beings, and it seems like we're sort of corrupted. I would like us to see turn evil. And this is the thing. This is how you can kill Irene, and she doesn't get corrupted. I think that we could turn evil and kill Irene that way. And I think it would be a better plot twist than the Kaith, perhaps. I think I would prefer... I do love the Kaith idea, and like Kaith dying just in front of Irene, that would be amazing. But man, yeah, it would. I think it would, because you would have a cutscene of Irene just...
You won't have to die.
Going nuts,
you won't have to die.
I think if Irene goes corrupt, and imagine if Irene goes Void-like, okay? It becomes Void corrupted. You get such a cutscene that's going to be on the ages. I think it's going. Do you remember the cutscene for the end of season 4 when she becomes an Elder Dragon?
Yeah,
imagine something like that, but she's corrupted now, and I think that's gonna nail a lot. But I think I would prefer to see the commander going that way. You know what I mean? We've been the good guys for so long, and now we're seeing these episodes.
I mean, of course, this is with a good guy. Of course, with a good guy.
I mean, not necessarily. I think you can do a grayish character, like there's been.
But in the end, you always be the good guy.
Yeah. I think so. You kind of have to go down that path, or otherwise you just can't win at the end, or the world ends, right? Because the bad guys always want to destroy the world, basically.
But Irene can die and can be probably forced by the Void. I don't know. The Void's too strong.
But
she can't take
you
it.
Don't, if the commander,
it's another easy path
goes evil,
for it.
You don't need to stay evil forever. You know. You can just become corrupted for a certain period amount of time, and then, like Dragon's Watch, like the guild, the NPCs guild, Bram and Gorik and Wicklock, they just come around with a plan to rescue up from the corruption or something like that. Hey, do you want to start this meta? This meta is going on. We can do it while we talk. But yeah, so we both agree that Ori needs to die. I think she needs to die before the next expansion, or otherwise the risk isn't high enough for me. Like, there's no danger to whatever's coming up, you know?
There's nothing that can stop Irene.
Yeah,
basically.
that's true.
Or that Irene can't stop.
That's the thing. She needs... There's also the option that... Imagine, there's other... Oh, fuck, I didn't grab a a thing. There's other worlds out in the mists, and there's always a chance that like she gets I don't know, help requests or something like that from other planet, and she goes off. Like Aurene goes off grid for an uncertain amount of time. We don't know where she is. We don't know if she will come back. We just know that she's not here. That is also a way that the devs can not kill her, but still have some stakes in the story. You know. I don't know if I was clear enough on that one. But basically what I'm saying is, like, you can put Aurene off the picture without killing her. You don't have to necessarily kill her.
I mean, but what's the fun in that, you know?
The fun is that you can tease what else is out there. What would she be dealing with that is so dangerous that she needs to leave our world behind, you know? Like the gods did. The gods also left our world behind, but that was because of the Elder Dragons. And that's another thing. That's another point. Oh my god, this is such a segue. It wasn't actually my next point. It was the other one after. But I have one point here that I want to talk about, and it's the return of the gods. The gods left the world because of Elder Dragons. So there's no more Elder Dragons besides Aurene, which is good. So there's no reason for the gods not to come back. That's another...
But there's still Aurene.
There's still Aurene, but why would Aurene fight the gods? There's no reason to, right?
Okay, but they can give her a reason to, you know? That's the point.
I think we have already seen that, the dragon versus god thing going on. I think if a god comes back into the story... Oh man, what god would I want to come back? I think Cormyr has already been in the story, so it's the only god that I wouldn't like to see again. Belissa. Look, I know you haven't done Season 3 yet, right?
No.
But baseline, when Balthazar appears, he doesn't appear as Balthazar. He comes disguised as a being called Lazarus. And you actually can tell that he's Balthazar, that he's a god. But he uses a device from other god, the god of illusions, Lissa. He uses a mirror to get that disguise. But we never heard the story behind that mirror. How did he get the mirror? Why did Lissa help him? You know, why did the god Lissa, the god of illusions, help Balthazar escape and get a disguise from the... It's weird, you know? There's like a plot there that never got told. So I think there's room for that as well. At least very, very, very soon. I think that the god storyline are very much attached to whatever is going on with the Void. I think the Void is the thing that the gods wanted to avoid. Does that make sense? Like, if the gods killed the dragons, there would be a Void. There would be the Void corruption, and that's what I think they were trying to...
So, but then the Void is out now. When they're just gonna stay put. That's what you mean? They're not gonna move?
No, I think that's also a reason for the gods to come back. Now the Void has come, as like it wasn't their intention, but it did come anyway. So that's now something to motivate them. But the thing is, there's Aurene, right? The thing with the Void, this is the thing. I don't think the Void is gonna be a huge deal in like 5 years at least. I think the Void is really long-term story arc. It's really, really a long time before we see the end of that arc. But I do think that the Void is gonna be still very much present before the next expansion. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing... baseline I think like Irene has to disappear and die, whatever you wanna, whatever way you wanna go. She's too strong to really exist any
Yeah.
threat. You know what I mean? There is nothing
The
that.
worst thing that they could do is just power her down. Just that would be awful. I wouldn't like to see a powered down Aurene still lingering around the story. Nope. I want like
I mean, depends on how she got up there. You know?
oh, probably it's gonna be like
How?
something with if they do it like that, it's probably something to do with the Anka device that was used before, and now we just have the remnants that we used at the end of the end of Dragon's plot. With June, like we reconstructed like that canon, but it's so lame, man. It's like I know that Anka and the Eighth of Blades have been in the mists, and this is really just a personal taste. But I think that a canon of that power existing on the story of Guild Wars 2 is such a ridiculous move, man. So cheesy. It's so cheesy. A canon that can power down dragons. How didn't we come up with the commander, with all the pack resources? With all the Asura genius working besides us, we couldn't figure out a canon to do that. But Hunka and the Eighth of Blades, they managed to figure that out. That is so cheesy, man. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'd rather much have a serious.
I mean, Anka herself is a genius. You know?
Yeah, but not. If she was such a great genius, she would be referenced by other Asura, you know. But she's a pirate. She is like an Asura rogue. She was in the Inquest. She's not really. Well, in the Inquest, there's always some genius. Gorik and Blish were in the Inquest, but I don't know, man. I think it was just cheesy the way they've come up with it. But another thing that I really want to see more about, and I think you don't know about this one. Have you ever heard or seen the Wizard's Tower in Guild Wars 2?
Yeah.
I've shown you already the
Yeah.
spot? Yeah. I think that the Wizard's Tower is really getting close to a resolve. And I'll tell you why. I don't know if any person here did the Extra Life achievement. There was like a special event for charity during a couple of like 2 weeks, and it was an achievement that had a quest line. It was one of those weird achievements that should be on a quest, but hey. And the achievement basically talked about an order of spellcasters from which Casimir came from. Casimir, right? Yeah, Casimir.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there's like a little bit of the quest talks about the Wizard's Tower, or makes a reference to what's going on in Wizard's Tower. And it came out this not this year, we're on 23 already, so it came out last year around September. I really think that the devs have been looking into that plot line, and they are working on it, something to do with it. I don't know if it's a fractal, I don't know if it's a strike. It might not even be
Statistically speaking,
anything to do with the story. It might just be like a secondary thing, like could be a fractal and doesn't have nothing to do with the plot. But I think they're gonna release something to do with that. What I would love to see about that, about the Wizard's Tower especially, is I don't know if any of the present folks here remember, but there's like a little storyline on the Asura race that you can pick, and the Inquest are studying the tower. And I would love to see that the Inquest I've already like got inside the tower and are now the ones behind all the things inside the tower, because it's been so long. It's been like 9 years since that plot line started, right? So I would really like to see a little bit of development and not just the same wizard from back in launch still around. But yeah, there's a lot of things that they can do with that. Now another big thing that I really want to talk about, and I want to get your input on this one, Jota. What are the big features, like the big selling points that Guild Wars 2 can still do, in your opinion?
I think they should firstly fix the ones they currently have.
Yeah, okay, but
I mean,
we have to be realistic. Like, they need to bring new audiences in. They need to bring new audiences with every expansion. And what features would appeal to a broader audience? Like, fixing something doesn't mean anything to the ones that don't play the game, you know?
Okay.
What I mean about these
what I
is
mean by
like, you talk about mounts. Mounts is such a big thing that everyone outside of Guild Wars 2 got to talk about Guild Wars 2 mounts.
Wait, is that Malchin?
Like gliding. Gliding is also a very big feature that came out with Hour of Thorns. And yeah, I'm basically talking about these big features, these big sellout points that can influence the sales of the expansion.
I see what you're saying. I don't know, man. Big feature. What is the next feature that should have? I mean, I don't know. A new mount could be really good, to be honest.
Oh, what mount would you? Do you have an idea for a new mount?
Yeah, we talked about this one time. Having a mount that actually flies but carries two people.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the hybrid, like a hybrid
Exactly.
sky scale siege turtle, let's call it like that. Yeah, that would be cool.
That's one for the mount, you know. I don't know, that's just a dumb idea maybe, but
I do have a couple ideas actually. Well, first off, I want to talk about larger ships. I think Guild Wars 2, especially with the skiffs, they have implemented the technology for us to have bigger and bulkier ships. And when I say bigger and bulkier, I mean 50 people sized squad ships. That's what I fucking mean, okay? Okay, maybe not 50, but like 10 cannons, you know, 5 on each side, and folks can use some skills while standing on the boat. They can still use their weapon skills and everything, but there's other ones that will stay on the cannons. Because just like siege turtles, the cannons do a lot of CC and a lot of damage, and they're worth it. But yeah, I think large ships are, and they can capitalize on it with skins as well, just like they've done with skiffs.
But imagine that's a completely new like a completely new thing with the gaming.
Yeah.
That requires a lot of development.
Oh,
stuff. You
and
have
mounts
to
did
add the
it.
seed,
Mounts did
you
as
have
well.
to- It's basically a completely. It's like Lost Ark, basically. You know? That's what you're saying. I can go to Penta from.
Oh no, I'm not saying like that. I
from the
think
Crusader,
that after having those big ships, then you can try to think
But,
about
but,
something.
but where
like
would
that.
you use those big ships? Where would you use those big
That's
ships?
the thing. With the new expansion, you could release 2 maps with a lot of water content, and like there's the deep sea monster, and you could fight the deep sea monster with those ships. Maybe that's the only way to defeat the deep sea monster is with a squad ship. That would be fun.
I think the deep sea monster is Gyarados
Oh,
2.0.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that the monster in Gala Delves is something to do, and we can talk about this as well because this is what's coming right after, right? Like this is coming not in the May 2nd, but I think the May 18th, something like that. I think that the Gala Delves monster doesn't have anything to do with the deep sea monster, and I'll tell you why. The Gala Delves monster is frozen like really close to the ley lines, but it's stuck in the jade. Whilst the deep sea monster, we have reports of tentacles coming out of rivers, lakes, and oceans as well. So there's something out there that can put tentacles like independently. It doesn't need to be on one spot to put the tentacles there. You know what I mean? Like, there's some kind of magic that it does and can just pull the tentacles out of the water and terrorize like an entire species of Quaggan or something like that. But I do think that on Gala Delves what you have is some sort of jade-like being, jade maw-like being, maybe a jade king or jade queen. I think I've said this before. I think it's different things. It is a little bit weird that we do have this really, really cool and Cthulhu-like monster right now. At the same time that we have learned about the deep sea monster. So it is kind of weird, and maybe I'm totally reading this wrong. I believe that, but I want to believe that there's two different things here going on. I think that this thing that's stuck in the jade, I think this is the thing that may corrupt the commander and turn it evil.
I don't think that's even gonna happen in this expansion. I think all the arena and commander going evil situation is after this, after we finish with Kanta.
I don't think so. I disagree on that. I think that we are gonna be Orin. Oh man, no. If the next expansion is coming next year, Orin needs to be dealt with within the next few quarterlies. Like, there's no way. There's no way. And I do expect. Let me put it this one out right away. And I think we both agree on this one as well. I think the next expansion is still gonna be in Kantha. I think the next expansion is a deeper look into Kantha without the dragon stuff. Because there's a lot to talk about Kantha. There is a lot left to talk about Kantha. There's Old Kaineng. Old Kaineng is all in ruins and we haven't even been to that map. There's that the Kirin Peak? No, not Kirin Peak, exactly. Kirin Peak. There's the Great Turtle Highlands. Oh man, there's so much stuff that we still have to check out in Kampa.
Wash the pain away.
I don't think there is that much. I mean, okay, nuke Old Kaineng, yes, please. Yes, I think that would be cool. That would be such a good content, you know, the map has the potential. Every ruin, everything that is a ruin has potential to be very
Oh man,
good.
just look at Echovald. Echovald is one of the most beautiful maps in the game. Man, like those ruins, like those gothic style ruins, they look so good on this game. I love it. But at the same time, I gotta say, I don't think a lot of people would be thrilled to have another expansion in Kantha. But I would be. I I think folks don't understand how excited I would be, because it would mean two things for myself. It would mean that they are trying to focus much more on beat-to-beat stories, so they're not rushing story anymore. Because you can tell that they're rushing a little bit. Like, they rushed not just champions, but they rushed Zaitan, they rushed Modromoth, they rushed Suwon even a little bit. Like, the part where Suwon is corrupted to the part where Suwon dies, you barely interact with her. It's a little bit rushed. It feels rushed. Well, if they now do another expansion on Kantha, where now I can feel that they're gonna take their time and really get deep into another side of the story that we haven't seen yet from this part of the world. Like, we've barely touched in the politics of this whole region. There's a fucking empress in Kantha, and we've seen her like one time.
I mean, I don't like politics. So I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I get that not everyone likes politics, but it's part of the world, right? I mean, I don't like. I'm not a very fan.
I mean, sure, but you don't have to make a big deal out of it.
No, you don't need to make a big deal out of it, but you can at least have it. What? Remember, Kantha has been sealed off for 250 years. It has to be a fucking huge deal to see how these folks have been living and how do they adapt to having now fucking Char and the sewer walking around. They were just humans.
Lucky for us. Most
Like,
things around here just
this entire time they were just humans living there. And now there's Char and Sylvari, and I think that needs to be a huge deal. Come on, that would affect the society in a very big way. But as I was saying, I'm not at all a fan of romance and romantic shit. But I tolerate the Casimir and the Marjorie shit. Yeah, I tolerate it. I don't fucking care. I get it. There's story and an arc to tell about those two characters. I'm not a fan of it, but they have to tell it. Like, the characters can just be bland, you know? They need to keep moving. They need to keep it interesting. It's not the way that I would do it, but at least there's something. Now, as far as the Empress of Kantha goes, there's like nothing to it. We want more. We want more. Come on. There's gotta be a development there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta know if she even has a kid.
I mean, sure, you want war between. You want basically saying you want war between Kantha and.
No,
basically.
not necessarily. No.
if we survive.
What I would like to see, though.
Even though it's not a full-on war. I mean, full destruction.
Yeah.
You know, you want a politic war. That's what you want, basically.
And not against Tyrion, no. I think it would be very much interesting, or much more interesting, if it were just inside of Kantha. Like, you had Minister Lee, right? Minister Lee was this guy that wanted to go back to the tradition of being closed off of the world and everything. It was like a traitor of the Empress in some way. It was like the White Falcon. But it wasn't working alone. It wasn't even leading the group that wanted to disrupt that Kantha politic. So I think there's room for more. There's room for us to see the leader behind all of that shit. Who was behind Minister Lee?
Okay, that's a way. Never thought about that.
I think that especially on Old Kaineng you could do a lot of stuff like that. On Old Kaineng you could have like a night out of those is it purists? I think it's purists, right? Yeah, it's the purists ones that want to stick to their old traditions. I think I'm speaking facts and not shit right now. But yeah, I think it's the purists. And I think it would be really funny to have like a full-on rebellion, let's call it like that. Like, I don't mean a war between Kryda and Kantha, but And not even a civil war, you don't need to go that far. But you could have a rebellion without having a civil war.
Getting healthy.
And you could make it interesting.
I command stone and
Like you could use that rebellion to
ready to rock.
speak some facts about the Empress that would leave the player base like shady about her and not trusting her at 100%. I don't know, you can do so much cool shit with it. I think there's a lot of leeway on that front. I think that Kantha still has a lot to give us in terms of lore. There's a whole secondary quest or like not a main quest, but like a side quest for Guild Wars 1 on Kantha that talks about a character, which is Reiko, I think it's the name. That doesn't even appear in Guild Wars 1. But in Guild Wars 2, they talk about her in a book.
That look easy.
Again, so there's precedent. They could do like a comeback to that character, you know? Like, what the fuck happened to that character? We still don't know. We just know that now there's more to it. They haven't left that character without, like, in a limbo of characters, you know? It's not lost to thought. So, I don't know, man. There's so much stuff, especially in Kantha. Like, the thing that we're dealing off right now, the Onis, I think this is just a distraction. The Onis were a race of assassins that were led by a demon. I actually don't recall the demon right now. But yeah, this is an army from a demon that was defeated in Guild Wars 1. I think the Oni are not working for that demon anymore. They're working for the thing stuck in the Jade. That's what I theorize about. And I think that the tentacle stuck in the Jade is the thing that actually is I want to say controlling the Void, but this is not Void, is it? Do they call this Void?
Well, this is void, yeah.
Is this Void though? Because they are not Void corrupted. They are not called Voids. Void corrupted. They're Shades and Shades and Voids. I don't think it's the same thing. It's like Void. It's not the same thing as the Shadow Behemoth. I think these shadows are more to do with the Shadow Behemoth than they are to do with the Void. So I would say like the thing stuck in the Jade is more demonic than Void-like, you know? See it more as something from the Underworld, something from Hell of Guild Wars 2. And not something from... or something that created the Elder Dragons, which is the Void. The Void did create the Elder Dragons. But I don't think this is the same thing. I think this is quite different. I think this is like a shadow or something like that. Yeah, look, there's like Twisted guys, champion 80. Yeah, look at this champion. This champion, you can see it. You can see these models on the Shadow Behemoth event. So I would say this is the same thing as the Shadow Behemoth. I think.
You can.
What? Sorry.
That is this model one?
No, this is this not the model of Shadow Behemoth, but this is the same enemies that you fight from the portals. Like. Once you are fighting Shadow Behemoth, you come to the portals, right? There's a lot of portals spawning. You need to destroy them. Right? Yeah, and these are the ones that come out of the portals. At least those big Minotaur-like things. Because they're not... If you see like the Void, they're just dragon minions but in black, with this black hue. This is not... That's not what's happening here. That's different. I think Arena was quite clever with this episode, to be honest, because they've left so much shit to explain. We don't know shit about this. They weren't even clear if this was Void or not, which is kind of funny. Some folks could say, oh, they don't even know what it is. Not even Arena Net knows.
About anything. I don't have all the answers.
I know.
No, but I think it's quite purposely done. The thing that it's not dragon minions anymore, so I think it's different. I think it's another shit going on. Especially since they picked the things from Shadow Behemoth, and you don't see these only on the Shadow Behemoth. There's the raid on the Underworld. You also fight these on the raid as well. So I'm quite inclined that this is something from there, from the mists. That's why I also don't think that this is the deep sea monster. The deep sea monster came from Tyria. It's from Tyria. Aurene was keeping it. Suwon was keeping it at bay. Only when Suwon came to New Kainang, to the reactor, it was when the deep sea monster started to do shit. So it was afraid of Suwon. It was not an elder dragon, not near as powerful. So you do need to get rid of Aurene. Do you see how all my theories connect so perfectly? Shut up. So you do need to kill Aurene. So basically the commander goes corrupted with this thing, which is not the deep sea monster. We kill the Aurene, then we deal with this thing from the mists, and once we return to Tyria, we deal with the deep sea monster. Huh? That's basically it. Yeah, that's the stream, guys. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. But yeah, that's basically what I think it should happen, man. If I was Arena, that's how I would do it. It lays so perfectly, I think. Although there's one caveat here. Besides Aurene dying, there's no big plot twist. It's very predictable.
I mean, there's the Katie one, you know.
Yeah, there's the Kaith option.
Kill
There's the
Irene.
Kaith option. Yeah.
Katie option. Katie option is very.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. If you go through the Kaith option and if Kaith dies, that is another plot twist. But the thing is, you're gonna get two plot twists in one go, which is the Kaith and the Aurene going mad. It's like it's two in one. That's a big.
That's why they should do it. 'Cause it's
No,
big, you know?
it's a great idea. It's one of the best ideas that they could do right now. It's the one with the cave. But I think Arena is too coward as a company to do it. I think they're afraid of making like all the Aurene fans go mad as well. There's such an Aurene fan base that it's
The Aurene fans.
It's so ridiculous. Since she was born, there's been like a very divisive community where half loves Aurene and half wants her dead. It's so funny, man.
I mean, I like her,
Yeah.
you know. It's not that I want her back, but I think it's the right move for the story.
Yeah, right now the way Aurene
I think
is.
it needs that. It needs that because she's too strong.
Yeah, she's just too OP, man. She's just too OP. And she did a full arc as well already. Like, there's nothing else that they could do with Aurene that's exciting besides turning her mad. Or killing her. You see what I'm saying? Like, her story is done. She is the only Elder Dragon. I don't think Aurene has, besides now being the Guardian.
But the thing is, they might have plans for Irene to be part as the main character, you know.
Oh man, fuck that.
This is rather
No,
rare.
fuck that.
Yeah,
My main character,
they could be thinking like that,
my
yeah.
last main character, like the last main character of Guild Wars 2 story, besides the commander, obviously, for me it was Traherne. Like, you were the side character to Traherne, and I very much enjoyed being a side character to Traherne. Then I don't enjoy as much being a side character to Aurene. You know, I can't relate as much to Aurene as I can to Traherne. I do like Orin, but I don't think it works out. I really don't think it works out, Orin being the main character. I think that the arc of Orin fitted very, very well with the Elder Dragon storyline, but it doesn't work very much further than that. And you always come back to the luggage part, right? They fucking killed Primordius and Jormung because of the luggage. And now you don't kill Orin? Fuck off, man. That makes me mad. That makes me fucking mad. Coming back to the features, I also have this feature in the back of my head since I finished the core Tyria storyline. So we've seen all these airships around since core. You see where I'm going, right? I really think we should get our own airship, man.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
sky
you want
scales.
the boats, you want
Fuck
the planes, yeah,
Fuck
you want
sky
everything.
scales. Why would you need sky scales with a fucking airship? But no, imagine like a skiff version of
Good
those
luck.
ships. I think it would work. I think it would work. And you instead of having that
Yeah,
mount,
good luck, good
instead of
luck.
having that mount that we talked about, well, you could have that. You could have like a mini ship that's for, instead of 2, it fits 5.
Somebody put a turtle through there.
Come on, it would be cool.
Nah,
is
I
that
don't
too
think
much
that,
copium?
I mean,
Too much
okay,
copium?
it could be cool, but yeah, that's totally copium. That's not even.
Yeah, I take it.
It's
I
not
take
even
it.
a
I take
thing.
it. That might be a copium.
Once Path of Fire was out, I mean, that option will never be on the table. I
They
think.
said the same thing because about boats because of the skimmer. That's all I'm gonna say for now. But I see your point and it makes sense. You are totally right. It makes total sense. But I have another one for you. I have another feature for you. A proper housing system.
I mean, I'm not a fan of housing though, but yeah, I mean, I know a lot of players. enjoy it.
With the guild hall decoration system implemented into it, so that you can decorate your own house instead of just having those nodes around. You could have like a menagerie for your mounts, where you can see your mounts besides being mounted on them. Like where you could pet them and such. I know that's just a roleplay thing, but
Oh,
if you're talking about a home instance, you're kinda into it, right? So you could have like NPCs that you could
I mean,
hire
you
for.
know, this is an MMORPG, and that's part of an RPG.
Yeah.
You know,
And if you look at it, like
it makes sense.
Elder Scrolls Online has it, Final Fantasy XIV has it. I don't know if Hyan has it.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan's not even in the conversation.
Yeah, but I'm talking about MMOs, RPGs, not the biggest.
I don't know. WoW. Does WoW has? I don't know, does
WoW
have-
doesn't have a proper housing system that I know of. At least that I know
I don't
of.
think
But that's a big thing that they've been asking for a long time as well. Like the garrison system was the garrison system in WoW is like the Arbor Stone that we have, or the Sun's Refuge, you know, where you can level it up and unlock new collections to do and shit. But just like in WoW, in Guild Wars 2 it's the same thing. It's not fulfilling enough. Folks will always want a proper housing system until you give them one. Like these Arbor Stones and these lobby instances don't cut it out.
blast free.
I mean, yeah, sure. I think, but that's the question.
Is it worth the
They
resources?
always been this. Yeah, exactly. They always. We know that they don't have that many developers.
All these, all these
Because,
ideas at the same time.
you know, all
they've got to
these-
pick.
all this, and all the content they've been putting out, you know, for the pace they're putting out content. That's a thing that probably will take some investment. And I don't think that's the direction they are going. I mean, they could still be doing it, but very slowly. You know?
Synergy is beautiful.
I could see it. I could see it turning into a profit if they actually implement it, and if they do this, they obviously they're gonna implement it on the gem store. But they could put some like some VIP houses for sale on the gem store, you know, and that does bring a little bit of income from that feature. But I would want at least 1 or 2 houses for golds, you know, like not for gems. Like the same way you have the base mounts, you know, you should have a base house at least, and not exclusive to the gem store. That's the only thing that I don't want from a housing system. It's gem store exclusivity. There's not a single thing that I want to be exclusive to the gem store in terms of features, and I think that would be a pretty bad decision. But it's Arena, and they've never done something like that, so I think we don't have to worry about that for now. Another thing, and this is actually the last thing I have to talk about here. I don't know if then you have any other thing to talk about, but this one, I think this is the big ticket thing. No more elite specs. So what's next? And
New race.
what? You have something for me?
New race.
A new race. That's an option, and I'm a very fan of that option.
Oh, fuck.
I actually love that option. But I think that's a copium answer. To be honest, that is a bit of a copium. It's so hard to do a new race on Guild Wars 2 because of you would have to rework the entire level 1 to level 80 story, and that is.
Hey, but that's an opportunity to make a better one.
And to justify the investment, right? In reworking it.
Exactly.
If I was a game director, I would give that as a justification on like to the big suits, like, hey, like we're gonna build a new race for new players, so we kind of need to rework the entire storyline for level 80, and that would actually make a lot of sense. Although it is a little bit of a copy, I mean, it is too much. It's possible though, it's possible. If they're releasing just 2 maps per expansion, the thing is they're coming out every year, and that starts to sound a little bit impossible, right? A new race in a year. It's hard, man, it's hard. Do you have anything else besides the new race? Oh, wait. Before that, what race?
I mean, do you have anything else?
What race? What races would you like to see?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. You gave a good one the other day. What did you say the other day?
The Tango? The Tango are really good.
It's a Tango. It's like, yeah, Tango. Tango is a really good.
You also have the Lagos, which I've talked about to you yesterday.
Yeah, the Lagos. Yeah, but I don't think that. I mean, we've seen so little of it. Yeah.
CC. Good CC. I think besides the Lagos and the Tengu, I think there's a really good option that no one talks about. The Awakened, the ones that got freed from Joko. Like there's zombies on MMOs, right? There's like zombie characters on MMOs. Why can't you make a zombie on Guild Wars 2 if you have the Awakened? It makes fucking sense, Jota. Come on. It makes perfect sense. Think about it.
I mean, you know, I'm not a fan of zombies. So.
Oh, okay. It's because of Thriller Bark in One Piece.
Yeah,
oh,
damn
it. But I think not because of that thing in One Piece, but I really think that the Awakened is a really cool concept for a new race, because you have this entirely different looking species. Like they are similar in in skeleton-wise, like for armors and for animations, they are similar to humans. So it's easy to animate and to adapt into new armors. But at the same time, they're different visually from humans. So I think it would work really well, and it wouldn't be that hard to do, in my opinion. In terms of animations and the armors, all the previous armors up until now fitting on the models, I think it would be easier than the Tango or the Lagos. Man, the Lagos is so hard because of the wings, right? Those, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like. I think, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's a little bit of copium. I mean, maybe more than a little bit, but.
A new race, it's really hard.
With the normal specs, I mean, there's a. I agree. There's a lot of specs already. I mean, we have a lot of.
But there's gotta be progression.
Classes. Okay, that's true. But I think the way could be new weapons too.
Yeah, that's when you ask me about my ideas. That's actually my main thought and my main theory that Arena's gonna do. First and foremost, I think they're gonna enable for elite spec weapons to be used without the elite spec. What I mean by this is, if you're a weaver, you can use the hammer.
Whoa.
If you're a catalyst, you can use the sword. But you still have the catalyst specs, You're not mixing elements as a catalyst. You just have the sword, okay? Imagine like a blade sworn could use double daggers, because the daggers are from the spellbreaker. I think it could work. I think that is something that would open up a little bit more of the build crafting. You could start to see a lot of different builds because different weapons bring different builds. Like look at the way you changed your entire gameplay just from changing from scepter to sword.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why the sword option is really good.
But besides that, or after that, I would love to see new weapons entirely. New core weapons. And why core weapons? Because core weapons can be used on any elite spec, right? That's one of the things that new elite specs wouldn't give you. Like, if I wanted to play as a necromancer with a pistol, I have to be a harbinger, right? Because the pistol is associated to the elite spec. But if you just receive a weapon, a core weapon without the elite spec, you can use it on any elite spec, which is good. I think like you could give like instead of giving the elementalist an elite spec with a bow, you could just have the bow and use it on any elite spec, which is more interesting, more fun in my opinion, right?
But okay, but that still requires some development, because Sword in Weaver, for example, has the three. That three is a mix of both.
Oh, but that's not just on the sword. That's on scepter as well. That's on staff as well.
Yeah. But that's the. How do you do? You don't. But the Weaver don't. Exactly. What's the third one?
No. It's
they have to add another skill.
Wait. You do have the third one for mixes and for just being on one element.
I mean, yeah.
That's basically done.
You do. But
I don't think that would be a problem.
But there has to be some kind of rework. Because, I don't know. That's really weird,
Oh, what a pleasant surprise.
Another weapon that I would actually like to see is like a battle axe and a spear. But, let me tell you, new weapons is also a little bit of a copium. Because doing new guys, think about this. The way an Asura wields a greatsword is different, not just because it's an Asura, but it's different depending on the class it is. A Mesmer doesn't hold a greatsword the same way a warrior does. And if you had a new if you had a new weapon, imagine that you had the battle axe for 4 classes and the whip. I don't know, I'm just making a weapon out of nowhere. And the whip for other 5 classes. you're gonna have to make 5 different whip animations just for auto attacks, which is insane. And if just by accident the whip is the weapon that gets fitted into the elementalist, you're gonna need, at least just for the elementalist, you're gonna need 4 different animations for the auto attacks. So yeah, new weapons are really, it's like a new race. It's really tough to do. I mean, Guild Wars 2 does shoot itself on the foot because now it's not easy to expand on these already really huge and impactful systems. And just doing something that sounds so trivial on other games, like adding a new weapon to the game. That sounds so trivial, but in Guild Wars 2 it is a big deal. And it's not just putting a new model in.
Ready to rock.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think we might get any new weapons at all? Like, totally different weapon, like a spear or a battle axe?
And I think that's the way to go. You know, you can even put 2 weapons so we can cover all classes. You know, we have to put one weapon for
Yeah.
classes.
If they go down that route, I would prefer them to have a little bit of variety and not just one weapon at a time. Yeah.
Exactly. So two at least, you know, that should be really good. And they can do it partially too. They can release one, like they did with Galdelves. Release one part, like one weapon, then release another weapon. You know?
Yeah.
That's it. I think it's a good approach. The thing is, I don't think they have the manpower to do that and deliver the content, like story content.
The thing is, it's still easier than the elite specs, right? Because you don't have to do traits, you don't have to do new mechanics just for the class, and you don't have to do new utility skills, like no new heal, no new elite. So that it's still hard as hell to do a new weapon, right? Because of all the animation stuff, but it's still easier to do than an elite spec. So, and the same is true for a new race. I think it's easier to do just one new race, guys. Think about this: one new race, than 9 new elite specs. I think it's easier to do one new race, but the thing is, they're trying to do a little bit more cadence now on the content. So what we're gonna see is a little bit of content on more frequently, but less bulk at one time. So I don't expect us to get like a bulky content feature in the next years to come. I expect like very small but impactful changes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go for the last one. I don't have the spring.
Oh, by the way, they've already allowed you to fish before finishing the bonus bosses. Isn't that right?
They what?
Now you
Sorry?
can fish right after the meta boss, and you don't need to do the bonus bosses, as I understand.
Wash the pain away.
No. They nerfed it, but I don't know how they nerfed it though. Something need to do, because you could already, I mean, okay.
Rage at maximum.
No, you could already fish before you kill those bosses.
Okay.
Charged up.
But yeah, that's basically all I had to share about what I think.
Statistically speaking,
I really
this is
think
rather
that we
rare.
should get a little bit more, or we are going to get a little bit more of Cantha, just to
Rage at maximum.
summarize it up. I really think that we are going to get more Cantha. I think the monster that it's in Gaia Delves, it's different than the deep sea monster. Aurene is going to die before the next expansion, and the commander is going to turn evil due to the PTSD that we're facing. Do you want to summarize your thoughts?
I mean, you basically said everything, but yeah, I think The way to go is Katie dies, Irene corrupts, we kill Irene, and
Then the void starts again as well, right? Because you don't have Oreen.
maybe, I don't know. After that, you know, I don't know what's to come. I don't have any thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much, Jota, for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
It was so much easier to do this with someone than to do it by myself, you know? It's easier to talk with someone. But yeah, that's actually all I have for the stream today, guys.
Yeah, I'm catching Zero Legendary. This is really not.
Don't tell me that. Come on. It can't be that bad.
I have 3 toadfish
God, but
in the boat. I'm using the correct plate for me. Yeah, I am.
let me see. Let me grab my first one. Come on. Give me a legendary right on the first catch. Come on.
Yeah.
God damn it, this is a hard fish to catch. Oh, stop juking me, you motherfucker. If this is not a legendary, I'm gonna be a little bit mad. Oh, a toadfish. Wow. Well, yeah, that's it, guys. I'm not that lucky. So, stay tuned for more content. It's coming very soon. Jota, once again, thank you so much for doing this with me and keeping me company. And I hope to have you on stream
Pleasure.
next time. So,
Pleasure.
thank you all, folks. See you on the next one.
Bye bye.